Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is preparing to play in his fourth consecutive AFC Championship game this weekend. The 2018 NFL MVP, the 2019 Super Bowl MVP, and he is one cool cat. Now we have the science to prove it. During last week's thrilling overtime win against the Bills, Mahomes wore a Whoop fitness heart rate tracker, and his peak heart rate came on his first quarter touchdown run, topping at 191 beats per minute. But what may be most impressive is that his heart rate was actually at its lowest when the pressure was highest during the final 2 minutes of the game and overtime. Mahomes was able to achieve what's called flow state during that time. According to his trainer, another name for flow state that you probably heard of is being in the zone. He definitely was, man, one cool customer. We'll see if Mahomes can keep his cool and advance to his third straight Super Bowl this weekend. I'm sure that $500 million contract probably helps keep his blood pressure down. But speaking of Mahomes, his Chiefs will take on the Bengals this weekend for a chance again at their third straight Super Bowl appearance. The Rams host the San Francisco 49ers. Niners have beaten the Rams 6 straight times at the site of this year's Super Bowl, SoFi Stadium in L.A. So who you got this weekend? We have someone to answer that question, and he's perfect. 2021 Sports Betting Hall of Fame inductee and DraftKings Director of Race and Sportsbook Operations, Johnny Avello. Man, how's that for an introduction? Good grief. Who you got, Johnny?
Pretty good, Joe. Thank you much. Pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, so let's start with the Bengals and the Chiefs. So the Bengals are getting 7 here. Who do you like?
Well, Joe, remember that I'm an odds maker and not a fortune teller. So, odds makers don't necessarily pick winners. We try to put up a line where we get equal action. Yeah. People bet it because of, a side that they like. Now, I can tell you what we opened the game. We opened this game 6.5, which means the Chiefs would have to win by 7 for you to collect on your bet. But now we are at 7, which means that the Chiefs would have to win by more than 7 or you get your money back. I'd say there's about 75% of all the money so far on that game. Long way to go. Probably only 20% of the money in is on the Chiefs. They also like the total amount of points scored in the game. We opened at 51.5. That's up to 54.5. So I guess it's all about what they saw last week. They think that the Chiefs can run up and down the field at will.
Right. I mean, you just pointed it out, and it's a great point to make, Johnny, that you're not making predictions, but you guys always seem to find that number, and I'm wondering how, right? And you said it's so that you get action on both sides of the bet, but it always seems to work out. Let's say you're giving somebody 2.5 points, and they win by 2. How do you guys do that?
Well, we are right a lot, but we're wrong a lot too. And it's not about being right or wrong. It's about trying to get that balance on the game. Now, the reason we are close a lot of times is because the spreads are formulated on what they call power ratings. It's about teams' offensive production and defense and some intangibles that go into it. And so when we crunch that, that's the number that we think the team should be favored by, and they happen to win by that in numerous occasions. But there are times, Joe, if you're paying attention, that we'll have a team a 12-point favorite, and the other side will win by 12.
Yeah. All right, so Rams and Niners, you had the Rams. They're 3.5-point favorites here. Where's the money on this game?
It's on the Rams. We have not moved this line much. We opened 3.5. We're still at 3.5. So there's been minimal movement, but the Rams are the choice on the money so far, with about 60% of the money on the Rams side. You're right. They've played 3 times this year. 49ers did sneak out a win in the last one after being down substantially in the game. But, the Rams are at home for this one. And if the Rams can win this one, actually playing the Super Bowl at home, and that would be the second year in a row that a team got to play in the Super Bowl at home after it never happened in the previous games.
Wouldn't that be something? So I know this is not necessarily what you do, but help us out here, Johnny. What's the best way to try to win, right? I've always heard bet what you know and stick to that. Don't bet on sports or things or games or teams that you don't know or conferences you don't know. But obviously, even then, there are no guarantees here. What's your advice?
I agree with that, Joe. I think it's also important to try to get the best betting number you can get. If they're all the same, then your choices are to bet with DraftKings all the time. We've got got the best platform. We've got probably more options out there than anybody else. But it's important to try to get a good number for laying if you can. Also look at the money line. Sometimes you get good value there. The money line is where the team just has to win the game,
right,
and not have to cover the point spread. And plus, look at some of those other options we offer, like on passing yards and rushing yards and first touchdown score. I think there's some value there also to be found.
You mentioned DraftKings, Johnny. You're a prime example, really, of how much the gambling world has changed. You used to work in Vegas, and now you set the DraftKings line. Can you believe where we are right now and how far we've come? I mean, all you need is your phone.
Well, I've been with DraftKings a little over 3 years, and if you would have asked me prior to that 5 years, I would have told you that sports gambling would have never been outside of Las Vegas. But, with the overturn of PASPA, look at us now. We're 18 states and growing, and just opened up today in Louisiana on the digital side. So, and there's a lot more to go. So, I'm surprised, and I'm very happy to be doing what I'm doing. I've enjoyed this business for over 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, New York's reporting more than $1 billion wagered in the first 2 weeks. They could set a record handle in the first month with mobile betting.
Well, we know there's a lot of people that like to gamble and know how to gamble in New York. But I think also up where you are, Joe, there's some pretty savvy, sharp customers up there, too.
We're seeing it, for sure. Hey, before we let you go, Johnny, are there any interesting prop bets? Because sometimes, at least in the Super Bowl, you'll see some of them. Are there any of them this weekend you like?
Yeah, we have the most receiving yards. We got Cooper Kupp, the favorite. He seems to catch a lot of passes, and it usually puts a lot of yards together. And then in the rushing yards, we have Elijah Mitchell, the favorite. But, who knows? That's so wide open. Joe Mixon could have a good day, too. So, if you like to bet chalk, we have it there. If you're looking for value and try to get some good-sized pluses, we have those, too. So, like I said, Joe, we just put them up and just hope the customers enjoy what we do. As
not as someone who sets the line, Johnny, but just as a football fan, who do you think wins this weekend? Just straight up, no points, who wins?
I think the Chiefs will win, Joe, because, they're a tough team to stop. If you have Mahomes needs a score late in the game, he's the kind of guy that can get it done for you.
He proved that last weekend.
The other game to me is just totally random.
Toss up. All right. DraftKings Director of Race and Sportsbook Operations, Johnny Avello. Good to see you, Johnny. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.